Think about the last few weeks. Think about the last 5 months. Since a new page was turned in January, since that fresh start, how have you been living? Did you make the most of this time? Did you keep the promises you made? Did you take concrete steps toward your goals, or did the days blur together, one after another, as laziness, fatigue, and lack of motivation won out? The procrastination trap is insidious. Pushing things off until tomorrow, believing we have all the time in the world, this is the most dangerous lie the mind tells itself. But engrave this truth in stone: if you continue to act the same way, you cannot expect different results in your life. Either you begin to change now, or you accept that disappointment will become a chronic companion. If you are still not living the way you planned, the time has come to change and to act differently. This piece is a challenge for the next 30 days. I will present you with 7 challenges distilled from ancient philosophy. My only expectation of you: choose one and put it into practice in the days ahead. No matter your situation, whether you are striving for success, facing emotional storms, or dealing with something else entirely, there is always room for growth. All you need is enough desire and courage to begin. Instead of surrendering to laziness, imagine what it would be like to take a determined step toward your dreams every single day. Consider how your life could transform by adopting small but consistent new habits. This is an invitation to reclaim control over the next 30 days and channel your energy toward real change. And making that choice, only you can do it. Challenge 1. Stop complaining about anything in your life. This challenge, on its own, has the power to genuinely transform your life. Imagine deciding to spend the coming days without letting a single complaint, a single negative remark, a single piece of gossip leave your mouth. When you realize how profoundly your words carry weight and make a deliberate effort to change them, the way you think is permanently transformed, and you begin to rewrite your own story. Think about how many times a day you complain. Perhaps it is the traffic that makes you late every morning. Perhaps it is a colleague who constantly talks and breaks your concentration. The prices at the store that climb every day and drain your wallet. Your head aching. The weather ruining your plans. Individually they seem small, but as they accumulate, they form a crushing burden on your mood and state of mind. Make a conscious effort to change this. Over the next 30 days, decide not to let yourself be swept away by the urge to complain and by negative thoughts. Yes, it will be difficult, but consider the benefits. Complaining is like watering the seeds of things you do not want in your life. Focusing on what is wrong is the same as being stuck in a swamp. The more you focus on the problems, the deeper you sink, pulled further and further down. It is empowering the problems, allowing them to grow and multiply. Have you noticed? The moment you start complaining about something small, before long you find yourself complaining about everything? The reason is that whatever we focus on tends to expand. Our thoughts and words shape our reality. As the ancient sage Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. You either use bright colors or dark ones. This is why it is vitally important to watch our words, because they are the mirror of our deepest thoughts. Sometimes we do not realize how destructive rather than constructive our thoughts are, but our words give them away. Mastering the mind is the cornerstone of our existence. I offer a practical method. Choose a ring, a bracelet, or a small object. Every time you catch yourself about to complain, criticize, or gossip, change the position of that object. This small physical movement will serve as the awareness trigger you need for your words and thoughts. Within these 30 days you will notice something extraordinary. When you stop complaining, you will begin to see the good things around you, small joys you never noticed before. You will discover that you have far more control over your happiness than you ever imagined. On the first day of this challenge, observe yourself. Notice how many times you are inclined to complain. Recognizing just how automatic these reactions are is illuminating in itself. But when you commit to this challenge, you begin to break the cycle. You gain power with every word you speak, because your words build your reality and directly affect your experience of life. So why not choose words that carry light and positivity? When you complain, you use the incredible power of your mind to search for the things you do not want. and ultimately you attract more of them. If you do not like something, change it. If you cannot change it, change your attitude. Stop complaining. By controlling your words, you take control of your life and build a fuller, more rewarding existence. Challenge 2. Purge yourself of negative thoughts. Imagine this for a moment. Every morning before leaving the house, you pick up 2 bags of stones and place them in your backpack. At first, perhaps it does not feel that heavy. But as days, weeks, and months pass, carrying this weight becomes unbearable. You are exhausted. Your energy is depleted. Every step demands an enormous effort. Now think of your negative thoughts. They operate in exactly the same way. They do not merely wear down your mind, they ravage your energy and your attitude toward life. They create a cycle of self-criticism, disappointment, and loss of confidence, leaving you drained and unmotivated. Your second challenge is to stop this cycle of mental self-sabotage. You would never put that much weight in your backpack, would you? You would not fill it with stones just to haul them around all day. So why do you keep doing this to your mind? We are often taught to value material things more than our own mental health, but it is possible to change this. We can learn to recognize the value of our minds and the impact they have on our quality of life. We absolutely must learn to combat negative thoughts before they morph into mental monsters. For example, when difficulties arise in relationships, instead of talking through the problem and resolving it, we dwell on these thoughts over and over. They've lost interest in me. They don't care about me anymore. These thoughts can become massive obstacles standing in the way of the relationship, eroding communication and connection. Or at work, when your boss criticizes something you have done, instead of addressing it and moving on, you begin thinking, I can't do anything right, or they'll never value me. These thoughts accumulate, building a wall in front of your performance and well-being that becomes nearly impossible to tear down. When we look back and honestly examine our lives, we see that most of our negative thoughts are not facts, they are our own judgments. Nearly every unpleasant experience in our lives, if we continuously feed it with negative thoughts, carries the potential to become a mental monster. Romantic disappointments, professional failures, a friendship that ended, a mistake made, an opportunity missed, someone's harsh words. All of these can take up weight in your mind, blocking your progress, your happiness, and your fulfillment. Reliving your fears and failures paves the road to your own self-destruction. Over the next 30 days, stop this cycle of negative thinking. First, stop feeding your subconscious with mental garbage. Avoid constantly reliving unpleasant experiences. Then redirect your memory to focus on events and thoughts that strengthen and inspire you along your life's journey. By eliminating negative thoughts, you make room for a lighter and more constructive mindset, one that allows you to face life's challenges with greater peace and confidence. An effective way to start: notice negative thoughts the moment they arise and challenge them. When a negative thought surfaces, pause and ask yourself, is this actually true? Is there another way to look at this situation? This simple act of questioning can interrupt the cycle of negativity. Furthermore, learning to silence the inner critic, that voice in your head that torments you with regret over past mistakes, is vitally important. Instead of tearing yourself down, learn to advocate for yourself. Remember the moments when you were brave and resilient. Yes, we make mistakes, because no one is perfect and we are all human. But all of us also have moments of greatness, of overcoming, of triumph. When we strive to know ourselves, accepting our flaws as part of our path of personal growth, we begin to see ourselves more completely, as if we are sculpting a stronger, more self-assured version of who we are. This journey is not simple. It is a winding path toward real inner strength and our own happiness. Ancient wisdom teaches us that changing our perspective on life, reshaping our values, including the importance we place on ourselves, is entirely possible. Challenge 3. Practice emotional and material detachment. This challenge is about learning to live without something you believe you need. It could be something as small as your favorite candy, or something larger like the time you spend on social media. The idea is utterly simple: to discover the power of self-control, one of the greatest freedoms we can possess. For a moment, consider what it would feel like to give up something that brings you comfort or instant pleasure. At first glance, it might seem like we are depriving ourselves of happiness, but in reality the exact opposite occurs. You transform yourself into someone stronger, someone capable of facing discomfort, of staring hardship in the eye. Consider how expanding your comfort zone makes you more resilient against life's inevitable blows. When you do this, you experience the power of self-discipline, and you learn to say no to things that do not contribute to your journey of personal growth. This is not merely about giving something up for a few days. It is about fundamentally shifting your perspective and building a better version of yourself. Let us think of this challenge in a broader framework. It is not limited to material deprivation. It is also about coping with feelings, emotions, and harmful habits. Think of the insecurity that so often hinders our progress and growth. It is like an invisible weight on your shoulders, pulling you down, slowing your steps, eroding your courage. Over the next 30 days, whenever you come face to face with insecurity or a harmful habit, visualize yourself consciously setting down that weight that has been holding you back. Even if it is difficult at first, give yourself permission to act with confidence and determination. This challenge is not just about resisting a habit. It is about freeing yourself from things that clearly obstruct your progress and your happiness. Sometimes we cling to negative emotions or destructive habits as though we are caught in an invisible net. We know they are bad for us, but they are hard to leave behind because they carry secondary gains. Yet when we challenge ourselves to live without these attachments, we discover our own inner strength and our capacity to overcome. So in the days ahead, choose a specific thing you want to leave behind. It could be a negative emotion like fear or self-criticism. It could be a harmful habit like procrastination or excessive social media consumption, or anything you believe is preventing you from becoming the person you truly want to be. Think of that feeling of insecurity that holds you back from taking action and making decisions. Always remember that your life and your true happiness do not depend on these things you leave behind. True happiness is born from your conscious choices and the concrete steps you take to build a more fulfilling life. Observe how you grow by releasing what no longer serves you. This is the first step toward a significant journey of personal development. By accepting this challenge of material and emotional detachment, you will be taking a critical step toward your personal freedom and inner growth. You will begin to realize that many things you once considered indispensable are, in fact, obstacles standing before your true potential. You will come to understand that training self-control is also training mastery over our emotions and feelings. Challenge 4. Master your inner world. Controlling our emotions is one of the most valuable lessons of ancient philosophy. Every day we face situations that test our emotional balance. A complex project pushing us to our limits at work, a family argument that nearly escalates into a fight, or an unexpected event that suddenly surfaces and destabilizes us. In these moments, reacting impulsively and losing control of the situation is extremely common. But what if you could change that? Over the next 30 days, we will practice conscious observation by paying close attention to how we react to the situations that arise. First, it is vitally important to develop self-awareness, to begin by recognizing our impulses and judgments, and then to cultivate the ability to distance ourselves from our emotions so that they do not rule over us. Consider a common scenario. You are dealing with a complex project at work. The deadline is approaching fast and the pressure mounts with every passing minute. Instead of letting stress overtake you, pause for a moment. Look at the situation from a broader perspective. Acknowledge that the challenge is real and demands your best, but how you respond is entirely within your control. Panicking, blaming others, or giving in to frustration will solve nothing. In fact, it can make the solution even harder to reach. Staying calm, staying focused, and working with determination will help you confront challenges far more effectively. The same principle applies to other areas of your life. If someone in your family or social circle is trying to provoke you, recognizing that dynamic is crucial. This person may be testing your patience or attempting to destabilize you emotionally, but this only succeeds if you allow it. Remember that you possess the power to choose how you respond. Practice the art of pausing and carefully observing the situation before reacting without thinking. Then consciously choose your response. As you develop this skill of maintaining emotional balance, you will be better prepared to face life's challenges with calm and serenity, and you will nurture a sense of inner peace that is independent of external circumstances. A practical example: during a heated argument, instead of reacting without thinking, take a pause. Draw a deep breath. Evaluate your options. Choose a response that preserves harmony and reflects the person you want to be. By applying this approach again and again, you will strengthen your inner control. Commit to observing and controlling your emotional reactions over the next 30 days. When you master what is within, nothing on the outside can truly affect you. Challenge 5. Question your expectations. Inspired by the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, this challenge aims to help us understand that most of the disappointments and frustrations in our lives actually stem from our own unrealistic expectations. Marcus Aurelius says, "The cucumber is bitter? Then throw it out. There are brambles in the path? Then go around them." That is all you need to know, nothing more. Do not demand to know. Why do such things exist? Anyone who understands the world would laugh at you. Just as a carpenter is not surprised to find wood shavings in his workshop, or a cobbler does not marvel at the scraps of leather that accumulate during his work, these words underscore the importance of accepting life's inevitable difficulties and obstacles. So often we become angry, upset, or disappointed because reality fails to meet our expectations. We are caught off guard because things do not go the way we want. Over the next 30 days, when you find yourself feeling disappointed, instead of blaming others or external events, try questioning yourself and your unrealistic expectations. Turn your focus inward and take responsibility. As the ancient sage Seneca reminds us, the only reason small things disturb us is that we did not expect them. This springs from excessive self-love. We decide that not even our enemies should harm us. Everyone carries a king's perspective in their heart, willing to exercise privilege, but unwilling to be harmed by it. Like spoiled children, we kick and scream when the world does not conform to our royal perspective. We keep in mind only what we believe the world owes us and forget to be grateful for what we already have. Our overly optimistic expectations and unbridled desires are the primary source of anger and disappointment. Therefore, we must bring them into closer alignment with reality, so that we do not feel perpetually let down by the world. If we desire only what is within our control, then no matter the circumstances, we will never be truly disappointed. Practice seeing the world as it actually is, not as you wish it to be. We must constantly remind ourselves what kind of place the world is, what we may encounter in it, and what truly lies within our own control. Another of Seneca's words drives this point home: the wise person will make sure that nothing comes to them unexpectedly. Nothing that is wholly unanticipated is more crushing in its effect. The element of surprise adds weight to a disaster. The unforeseen has never failed to intensify a person's grief. This is reason to ensure that nothing ever truly takes us by surprise. We must project our thoughts around every turn, keeping in mind not only the ordinary course of events but every possibility. The devastation of an event is directly proportional to how unlikely we considered it at the outset. This is why practicing negative visualization, regularly keeping our expectations in check, is of the utmost importance. If we imagine the worst, we will not have to contend with unmet expectations, and we can vastly reduce the negative emotions we experience. Let us mentally rehearse the worst that could happen. Let us see how a situation could unfold contrary to our hopes and expectations, and remain at peace regardless. A final word from Marcus Aurelius: remember, you should not be surprised that a fig tree produces figs, nor should you be surprised at the things the world produces. A good doctor is not surprised when his patients develop a fever. A helmsman is not surprised when the wind blows against him. By accepting this challenge, you can begin to align your expectations with reality and handle the difficulties life brings with far greater resilience. Challenge 6. Practice gratitude. Reflect deeply on the incredible capacity we possess to think, to feel, to take pleasure, and to love. This is the first step toward embarking on a journey of gratitude inspired by the words of the ancient sage Marcus Aurelius. When you wake in the morning, think not only of the routine about to begin, but of the miracle of being alive. Draw a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs. Recognize what an extraordinary privilege it is simply to be alive. Millions of people did not see this morning, yet here you are, breathing, thinking, possessing the power to choose. When we feel dissatisfied or face difficult times, it is natural for the mind to fixate on the negative aspects of life. We tend to forget to appreciate the things we have today that were once nothing more than dreams. How many of the things you desperately longed for years ago are now part of your life, yet you no longer see them? This is precisely why the practice of deep gratitude is so vitally important. This is not merely saying, "Thank you," out of politeness. It is about feeling a profound sense of appreciation for everything you have, great or small. It is about internalizing gratitude as an inseparable part of our existence. The word gratitude risks becoming a shallow, superficial concept through overuse. In this challenge, you are invited to express genuine and deep appreciation, to seek reasons to be grateful in every area of your life. From the meaningful relationships that supported you through hard times, to the small daily joys that light your path. No matter how insignificant they may seem, notice each one. This is also an opportunity to recognize your own efforts and accomplishments. For example, the simple pleasure of a warm cup of coffee, a moment we usually take for granted. When we become aware of the comfort and peace it provides, even this small moment can become a source of gratitude. In the same way, a meaningful conversation with a friend or the unexpected support of a neighbor are reasons to be grateful. Begin to reflect on your life and search for this feeling within yourself. Over the next 30 days, I encourage you to incorporate the practice of gratitude into your daily life. Each morning, name three things for which you know you are grateful. What is your heart grateful for? However simple this question may be, it holds the power to refocus your attention on the good things already present in your life. This practice strengthens our connection with the present moment and helps us adopt a mindset that finds inner contentment independent of external circumstances. A grateful person is a rich person, one who knows the value of what they have, who does not overlook life's small gifts, who greets each new day as a blessing. Challenge 7. Take a stand. Doing what needs to be done is essential. But how can we translate that idea into concrete action? The answer is to act. Thinking is not enough. Planning is not enough. Intention is not enough. Action is everything. Imagine reflecting on the events that have shaped your life. It is like facing a massive puzzle and trying to piece each part together with wisdom and resolve. Begin to analyze the events in your life more rationally. For example, you may not have control over where you live, but that does not mean you are powerless. Regardless of external conditions, you can transform your environment by ensuring your home is a haven of comfort and order. In terms of small daily choices, even if you do not have the finest clothes or shoes, you can always carry yourself with an attitude full of confidence, respect, and courtesy. This depends exclusively on each individual and the circumstances they encounter. Life's trials, such as the illness of someone close to us, can be merciless. Even if you cannot change the situation, you can offer your support and your love. Perhaps you are an entrepreneur building a business without many resources, yet you possess the power to deliver extraordinary service and dedication. The decision to act with devotion and creativity is always within our reach. In a professional setting, we cannot control every variable, but our attitude and the opportunity to act with intention are always ours. When we do this, challenges do not paralyze us. On life's journey, we frequently face the difficulty of making firm and sound decisions. This is no simple thing, because it demands courage and resolve. For the first time, it challenges our comfort zone and requires immediate action. By embracing these difficulties, we strengthen our ability to cope with the problems that arise. Refusing to let fear or indecision rule over us, even when we face life's storms such as financial or personal hardships, is the way to build an inner fortress that helps us preserve our values and act with integrity. You are that fortress, one that maintains its wholeness when life's winds turn stormy, one that ensures its foundation remains aligned with its principles. On life's journey, you will find both builders and destroyers. Some people raise their values as the foundational pillars of their existence, while others, for various reasons, undermine their own foundations. The choice between building and destroying is always ours. We can choose to strengthen our inner fortress, to reinforce our values, or we can allow it to crumble. This decision determines the course of our lives. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey of thought. All that remains is for you to weigh these 7 challenges in your heart, choose one, and apply it to your life over the next 30 days. Remember, change does not come in great explosions, but in small yet determined daily steps. Every morning is a choice. Every moment is an opportunity. And every decision either builds you or breaks you. The choice is yours. It always was.